So here's how you sell a ridiculous amount of tours online, right? So if you have a tour business or a tourist attraction, then follow these 3 simple steps and I guarantee you that within the next 30 days, you'll have at least an extra 20 bookings without having to pay a commission to anybody, right? So the first step is that you must prioritize earning trust, right? And what I mean by that is I see so many websites that they're only focused on getting the sale or getting the booking, right? So you'll go on those sites and the page is just covered with the different tours or whatever it is they're trying to sell. And yeah, we ultimately want to get the sale, but rushing into it is kind of like you see a nice looking woman and you go up to her and the first thing out of your mouth is just marry me, right? And yeah, I know that's probably a bad example because somebody going to tell me that's what worked for them, but I'm sure you get the point. Right? And when it comes to selling tours online, the first thing that's on people's mind is, can I trust this business? Is this a reputable business or are they going to scam me? Right? Because most people have been scammed at some point or another. So you have to know that and you have to prioritize earning their trust up front. They're in another country and they can't just drive by and see if you're a real business. So you have to put the things in front of them to make them feel comfortable booking with you, right? Don't just think that because you have a website, people are automatically going to trust you. It just doesn't work that way online. All right. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is you must advertise, right? How else are people going to know about you? Now, the tricky thing with advertising a tour business is that you want to reach people when they're planning an upcoming trip, because once they start their trip, it's too late. And if they don't have an upcoming trip, then what's the point? They're not your customer anyway. So unlike a local business who they sell to the general public, they can advertise anywhere, but you need to identify those people who are planning an upcoming trip and they're getting ready for it. And the only way or the most reliable way that I know of to reach those people is through search advertising, right? And I'll give you a quick example. Let's imagine that you had an upcoming trip. Let's say you were going to Hawaii. Then if you're anything like me, then weeks before you actually start the trip, you'll likely go to Google and you'll be typing in things like things to do in Hawaii or attractions in Hawaii. You're not going to wait until you get there to start figuring things out, right? And the businesses that show up when you're doing those searches on Google, they're the ones most likely to get you as a customer. If they don't show up, they don't have a chance, right? And another example is to just look at what TripAdvisor and Viator does. You can't type any things to do in or attractions into Google and those businesses don't show up at the top of the page and they're the market leaders, right? They must be doing something right? So the point is that tourism is a search-driven industry. And if you want a slice, then that's where you need to be. All right. Now, the third and final step is that you must follow up, right? And what I mean by that is, when people visit your website, it's unlikely that they're going to make a booking or contact you the first time around, right? And it's not because they're not interested. When people are traveling, they like to see all of their options before making a final decision. So when someone comes to your website, just know that they're unlikely to make the booking now. And maybe they plan on coming back later, but you can't leave it up to chance or leave it up to their memory to bring them back, right? You have to put things in place, retargeting, email marketing, whatever you have to make sure they don't get a chance to forget about you and book with your competitor, right? And I don't expect you to be manually running behind everyone that visits your site and annoying them. Nowadays, we have tools that will automatically follow up with everybody that visits your website. All right. And all of these steps I cover in much more detail in a private community that I created called the Tourism Growth Academy, right? And right now it's free to join. I'd invite you to join. And once you join now, we won't just start charging you one day. You'll be free for life, right? So if you have a tour business or an attraction that you'd like to grow and get more bookings for, then somewhere around this video, you should see a button. Click on that button and join my Tourism Growth Academy, and I'll meet you on the inside.